call this meeting to order, which is the first public affairs meeting that we've had that I was designated to be in charge of public affairs. So the reason I wanted to do this today is it's been on the back burner, and finally I was like, okay, we need to get it done. So some of the things that I want to talk about today is looking at the rebranding, the logo, getting headshots, a website update, and what's the other piece? Look on the papers. That's it. Okay, good. So we're going to start with the. I guess we need to do the call to order. Do you have to do that for this, Dominique?
I can do a roll call real quick. So
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. So Chair Nair Strickland.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Jencock.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Amberman.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Burnsworth.
I'm here.
Thank you. Commissioner Cubine.
Here.
And Committee Chair Hasseltine.
Here.
And I also want to recognize that we have one of our liaisons here, Dorothy Holtz. Dorothy, can you hear us?
I'm here.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, Dottie.
Hi.
Well, thank you all for, I don't know how many of you were just doing listen to the city council meeting, but your ears are probably tired at this point, and so hopefully we can whiz through this as quickly as possible. So I wanted to let a couple of things. Zakira is, and I hope I pronounced her name right, is going to be joining the public affairs committee and work on copywriting, wordsmithing for the website, and any other issues like that. She has a difficult time being able to take meetings during the middle of the day, so we're going to work around as much as possible. That whenever she can, she will, but not a lot. She can be doing a lot in the evening. I also want to thank Dominique for getting that statement together so quickly, and it looks great, and I really appreciate you and Sylvia doing that. And also that we're waiting on pricing for armbands. It was suggested that we may want to do some kind of an armband. Zakira came up with an idea of it maybe saying stronger, together, which I thought was really good. But that's up to the committee. So let's go ahead. So before we start on the logos that were given to us to review, I just kind of want to go back over like why we're even doing this, what the exercise is for. Certainly, whenever I've heard a lot of people ask that they didn't care for the logo, and are we changing the logo, and can we change the logo? But I think it's also important to understand why we do change a logo or why we do rebrand a business. And there's several issues of why you would do this, because a brand really is more than a logo. It's an identifier for a company or an organization. And also the reason that you rebrand is that every company does it, is that the times a brand, the logo part of the brand is outdated and no longer serves the company, organization, or product as it should be. So I think with all of the responsibilities, the additional tasks that we're taking on, we are involving, and I think it may be time to consider, rebranding and reflecting that. So the logos that I'm going to share with you all is BCF, which was a local ad agency, who is a great friend. Their creative director owner was a great friend to Sylvia, and he took a stab at trying to work on some logos. His name is Keith Ireland. I think I didn't know this until this week that BCF, because of the pandemic, is now out of business. but BCF was well recognized within the state of Virginia for creating some of the most iconic brands and rebranding a lot of the Virginia Beach. You know, they're the ones who actually did the cuss word, you know, like no cussing at the beach. Those were some of the things they came up with. They've done a lot of branding, especially in resort areas. This was their specialty. So, Dominique, if you can put, I think I've sent everybody the branding, the logo packaging, but if you could share that on there.
All right. Can you see it? Can everyone see it?
hmm
Yeah.
Okay,
great.
so this is BCF. Okay, so this is BCF, and we can go ahead and turn this to page 3. And
Okay.
what the assignment was for them was to explore typographical, logo mark, and initial color palette solutions for the Virginia Beach Human Rights Commission. Some of these I thought were a miss, and some I think are really good. So I just wanted to share these with you. So you want to go to page 5. So this was 2 of the first ones that they came up with, and I'm certainly, you know, we can go through them all, and then since you all have the same logo packet that I have, we can go back and talk about each one individually. So can we go to the next one, please? Okay. This I thought, I liked this one. I like the color palette. I like the vibrancy of it. I think it does a lot for VBHRC and still being able to read it. Okay, the next one. Here I could see where, you know, the direction they were going. It's an interesting logo mark. The next one. This one I wasn't so sure if the mark, if you could look at it and knew what it was. That was my initial comment on it. The next one.
Number is that?
We're on
This
number
is-
now. Right now we're getting to go to, that's number 8.
Yeah, because I'd looked at them. Yeah, I said it was okay.
Okay, good. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. And finally, number 12. And that one's rough. If that would be one that everybody would like, it can certainly be massaged to clean up. I know the program that he drew that in because of my degrees in graphic design. And again, that was just a nice rough. So certainly open for discussion.
Can you go back to page 8 for a second, please? Thank you. So I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So first of all, before, I guess it was before you were on the commission, we had, which is 2 years ago, we had a committee that I sat with that went through these exact same logos, and the committee did not like any of these logos, and they liked the one, I don't know why the one that we have now is not in this selection, because that one was also in the selection, and they felt that it was the cleanest, the easiest to put onto anything that we needed, whether it was cups, wristbands, phones, what do you call it, pens. So I'm not sure why we're looking at the exact same things minus one. I'm just not sure why we're looking at redoing logo. Why is the one we have outdated, which was one of the criteria you were talking about?
Right. I've had it mentioned to me several times by other commissioners that this is something that we wanted to revisit. That's why.
Okay, because no one has said anything to me or to Sylvia
Yep.
about it, so.
And
Ginger, thank you so much for bringing that issue back, because when they say somebody told me, it doesn't seem to me that there was a consensus. And remember that this body is an official body that has to basically work within the desires of everyone. So I understand and I appreciate all the work that has been done in this, work. And I think I like some of these things, but just to go back to what Ginger is saying, which I totally agree with. Number one, I requested, and I think that as a member of the commission, that we could please, if we could please share the past logo. I think it is for a reason. It's not just to be contentious or anything like that, but basically for historical purposes. And you are correct. Branding and the message that we are sending is extremely important. And I don't know if Dominique has the past logo, because I think I would like to revisit that, because I agree that it needs some updating, but not necessarily to disregard the work and actually, something that has identified the commission for decades, actually. But besides that, I just wanted to ask you, basically, we saw every single rendition that we were presented. And I want you to tell me which of the images brings into your mind immediately when you're rebranding human rights. You may say, yeah.
I did not take on this exercise because I have nothing else to do. Actually, Sylvia talked to me about it.
I understand. I understand.
So, again, if you want to keep the old logo, the logo that we have, that's perfectly great with me. I don't care one way or another.
Yeah.
But it was brought to my attention by Sylvia that the logo in its current form doesn't really work, and that we wanted to revisit that. That is where I'm coming from.
All right. Thank you, Carla. No, and I'm not saying that it was you personally at all, but let me just share a little bit of what I'm, where I'm coming from, and I would like the opportunity to speak to the rest of the members of the commission. Number one, we are an appointed body by a government, agency like the city council. And I think that, for instance, some of the logos seem to me rather wonderful for community-based organizations, say something that comes out from grassroots. Now, when I see the logo of the City of Virginia Beach Human Rights Commission, I see two things. I see a dove that means peace, and I see the balance of justice. And for me, Human Rights Commission means exactly that. There is peace in a community when you achieve equity and justice. And the way you are branding yourself is also how you are viewed, not only for the community, but also by the body that appointed us. And the body that appointed us is City Council. I would like City Council to see me belonging to a commission that clearly sends the message that peace and justice go hand in hand, and that is the meaning for human rights that people understand. I think if I see some of the logos here, they look wonderful, and I think that some of the names actually I like. Some of the, like Carla, you said the letters of the Human Rights Commission. I love those. If we can include, some of that, but the way we present ourselves, even to City Council, is how also we are taken. So just take that into consideration. I would like to, for that reason, to consider, keeping the current logo, but maybe updating the colors. I don't like the colors, but the symbols, I absolutely think they're meaningful to the commission. Thank you.
So Sylvia, when you say the current logo, 2 years ago, we voted that logo out, and we have not been using that logo for 2 years. We have been using the graphic VB HRC in the block formation. So what you could be suggesting is that you want to put that back into the mix to reconsider that logo, but the whole commission did vote against that one abstaining. So just to be clear.
Yeah, and that is for Sylvia, right?
I'm sorry?
Your statement, Ginger, was to Sylvia, right?
No, I was telling you that our logo is not the dove and the scale. We voted that one out 2 years ago. Our logo is the block formation of VBHRC.
Just the letters.
Mhm.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. So, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't put it back on the table.
Yeah, and on top of all that we are discussing, I feel that a long time ago, people were requested in the whole city to participate in the creation of that logo. There was a lot of work done, and actually a competition citywide, including high schools and others. So I feel that the letters alone, I mean, I'm just asking all of you to consider, because the visuals also say a lot. I like some of the letters. For instance, on page 6, I like the letters on the far right because it includes a lot of colors. It looks happy, vibrant. I like that, the one on the far right. But I always feel that to have another visual symbol would be really good. And maybe if we can consider having the previous logo with with some changes in the colors to go also alongside that, I feel that would speak volumes, visually, not only to the community, but also to city council of who we are in our job that they, play the job that they placed on us. So just consider it, if you don't mind.
Now, well, I think at this point, I don't think I mean, from what I'm hearing, there's not an appetite to change the logo. It was apparently voted on 2 years ago to keep it the way it is. I'm not sure whether I misunderstood the directive that was given to me, but we can consider this meeting over. I mean, I'm good. As to just call it.
Okay, I have a virtual hand
Okay.
up by Chair Neri Strickland. Chair Neri Strickland, your mic is open.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry if things were confusing. I think it'll help if I go back and talking about history that Beatrice has said that it was like a year-long competition. It was a long time, and there was a lot of history, and I understand the significance of that, because during that time also, that's when the whole city, there was an uproar by it started with the Jewish community who objected to the city seal because it had a cross on it. And that was like a year-long effort that we were heavily involved in at the time. And the bottom line was, it was between the historians who wanted to keep it. Nobody really likes the city seal. It's just kind of a city seal that we've seen all the time. So ultimately what came to bear was that the city seal would remain in place, and then there would be again, using the word brand, and I used the logo and brand differently. I know some of them are intertwined, and I always also worked as a graphic artist, but the brand they came up with, of course, was the wave and the new lettering. And so both are used, and they're used at different times. And the city seal is the official document seal, and you still have to get the permission of the city clerk to use it, petition it. But the other logo, I think, is not. I think you can use that without getting any special permission. So that's that part of the history. The other part of the history is when Raj was chair, we didn't know it as a group. I don't know how many of you were here during that time, but we didn't know. But he had Beatrice was okay. He went to you were too. So he went to the city and some other places, several, and he had a bunch of logos made because he wanted to change it. And he was supported at the time by Michael Bellucci. I don't know that there was a great tide to move toward that. At one point, he put me in charge of the logo committee, and then when I started to gather up more things, he said, I don't want you to do it, I want JoJo to do it. So JoJo started, and it ended up that it was JoJo and I think one other person, and a lot of things happened during that time. Anyway, it gets confusing, and I really can't tell you that it was a majority of the other thing is there were dozens and dozens of other logos, and he didn't want the rest of the commission to see it because he was afraid they'd get confused and we'd never go forward with it. So he narrowed it down to, I think, a few, and then I think that's when everything happened and he went away. So in honoring the past chair, I went forward. My stance was the old logo would stand and we could maybe do something that was more progressive, that we used in letterheads and something like that, so that we'd retain both, which I thought was a good compromise. And that kind of just stood out there. And then what happened after everything, all the Raj incident happened, we went to, I think Ginger held up the sign, and I don't know who was here during that time, and said, this is nice and clean, why don't we just use this one? Because it was on the table as an open, I guess, discussion. And there were a lot of new people. I remember they all looked around the table. Nobody was enthusiastic about changing it. Nobody was against it. It was just kind of one of those things. And we voted it and adopted it, and we've been using it. So that's how I viewed it. And I have heard, Carla, that several people had said that we thought we should change it. But since then, no one's really said anything. And I guess my stance was I'm trying to listen to everybody, and maybe at the next meeting we just ask, is anybody interested in changing it? It was voted on, but in honesty, it was not a enthusiastic vote. It was just kind of like, yeah, okay. There wasn't a lot of discussion, and that was at that particular meeting, that was the only logo that was brought up to the whole commission. And I don't know that anybody else has seen all these others. So having said all that, Chair, I was trying to listen to everybody, but.
Yeah, so Sylvia, I just want to add a couple of details onto yours. Everyone got the packets with these everyone on commission got these packets. And then what we presented was the one that the subcommittee had selected, and we put that up for vote. So,
okay.
And you're right. I mean, what does it, at this point, we don't have a lot of enthusiasm for this. We have a lot of other things going on in our community that need our attention. So I'm not stuck to one or the other. I'm just laying out what's been done in the past. So, what would be, that's all. That's all I want to say.
I know. I think that's how we got here, is that we all went, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Okay, so then again, I think once leadership decides, I mean, it doesn't sound like, again, there's an appetite for to change it. There's certainly no reason to add more work to anybody's docket that's not needed. And until there'd be an overwhelming change, I think we can call this
Yeah.
and just be done.
One more thought I had too was with the new committee, the IDEA coming up, and us being a little bit of where do we stand in comparison to them, it would be good for us to just stay and not create anything confusing about any of our communiques and everything. So yeah, sorry, Beatrice, sorry.
No, that's
Okay,
all
all
right.
right.
And I agree 100% with you, Ginger. But actually, going back to the branding, our city has given many, many awards to many worthwhile organizations and individuals that have worked for human rights. And not only does the Virginia Beach Human Rights Commission is spelled on the award, but actually the symbol has been, edged in some of those awards. And like you mentioned, Carla, and I agree with you, that visuals, sometimes speak in many, many ways. And so, like Ginger said, to have another committee that is going to be doing almost a similar work for us to be the conduit for government and community, for peace and justice, I think that is something that is conveyed by the logo. And yeah, if we want to change colors and if we want to do that, but I would appreciate it if we consider using the symbol, when appropriate, not at all times, but to
Okay.
use it as a seal, maybe. Thank you.
Okay. It's 4:00. And again, there doesn't seem to be an appetite to change it. I'm certainly not looking for additional work to do. And so I would like to end this meeting. Okay. And thank you all for your time and have a great afternoon. Bye.
Thanks for your work,
Okay.
Carla.
Thank you.